Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Annalisa and this is going to be my TBR for the middle grade magic readathon. This readathon is hosted by Olivia, Savannah, Kier, Kelly, Hannah, Kara, and Yvette, and I will link at least one of the announcement videos below, and from there you can explore and see all of the prompts written out and explained, and follow the links to all of the hosts. This is a choose your own adventure style readathon, so there are prompts based on different aspects of what you would find in a middle grade story, and you pick one from each category if you want to read that many books to make up your TBR. And the priority is to pick one from the first category, which is main character, and the two options for that are a main character in a book who is different from you and a main character in a book who has something in common with you. And I decided to pick a main character who was different from me, so I picked Baraka Beats by Maliha Siddiqui. And this main character is Muslim and hijabi, so both of those things are different from me. I think Kara recommended this at some point. It is about a young Muslim girl who I think gets involved with a musical club at her school, but her family, or at least extended family, has like different beliefs on how to engage with music and dancing. I think she kind of like deals with how she wants to interact with it based on her own beliefs and things like that. Then another thing you find in middle grade is a companion, and there are different prompts for different types of companions, but I picked the animal companion, and one aspect of that prompt is to pick a book with an animal on the cover. You could also have your pet pick one for you, but I picked Willowdene, and I'm picking a bunch of these based on books that I already had checked out from the library that are middle grade, and this is going to be a way to like chip away at all the middle grade that I need to read. So I happen to have Willowdene on my shelves. So there is both this big boar-like thing and also this little bear with wings, are both types of animals, and I'm excited about that. Then for what genre your chosen adventure is going to be, one of the possible prompts to pick from is to pick a book from your favorite genre, and my favorite genre is fantasy, so I have quite a few to pick from for fantasy, but I picked The Castle of Tangled Magic because I heard that this has a cat in it. There's actually a cat on the cover, and this got recommended as a possible book for the Cat Lady Readathon because it involves a cat. And so like there are multiple aspects to this that are like my favorite things, so I think that fits the prompt well. And I hadn't heard of this outside of things that fit that prompt, so it might be a little more underrated than the others, unless I've just missed out on things, which I totally do sometimes. So I'm looking forward to that. Then for your setting, there are many different settings, but I picked The Witch's Cottage, which is and the witch who lives in this cottage is a very nice lady, thank you very much, according to the prompt. And so the prompt to go with that is a book that breaks the rules or the stereotypes of the middle grade age range. And so a lot of people think that kids cannot be queer and that kids should not read about queer characters, and so thus that middle grade should not have queer characters, or that it can't handle queer characters. And so I picked one of the books that I'm pretty sure I saw on Anya's favorite middle grade queer books videos. This one is called The Insiders by Mark Oshiro. At least the main character is gay, and there might be more characters in that as well. This looks like it has at least three, a team of 3 characters that is probably going to handle things in this book. The taglines on the back are 3 kids who don't belong, a room that shouldn't exist, a year that would change everything. So that sounds like a lot of fun. Then for the plot, one of the options is not a chosen one. Pick a book to finish that you're currently reading. And I picked the Stone Girl story. I've been working on this one for quite a while, but have put it off for like higher priority reads, but this would be a good time to make it the priority. It is about a girl who has been carved from stone, and she was carved so well that she came to life, and there are multiple other animals carved so well. Looks like there's a griffin, and I know there's like a turtle and a bird. And so she's going, because her and all of the other animals are starting to degrade, she's going to try to find another carver to like firm up their carvings so that they stay alive. Because the carver who originally made them has passed away because they're all quite old. I am 63 pages into it, so hopefully I will finally actually get this done during this readathon. Then I have a bunch of recommendations and like TBR stuff that I'm gonna try to finish before the readathon starts, so before the end of the month. This readathon runs from the 1st of September to the 11th of September, and my wrap up for it will probably be way late because I'm gonna be away for September, but I have quite a few other middle grade books that I would like to finish soonish, so I'm gonna also use the beginning of this readathon as like a deadline for getting a bunch of these books checked off. But first are some that I have already read that I would like to recommend to you if you are going to take part in this readathon. They're just not for any specific prompt, they're just really good middle grade. One is Princess Ever After. This is a very cute little story that has a lot of themes of self-esteem because this character has been bullied by her big sister for being fat and called various bad names all her life, and has started to believe it, and this character is like figuring out what she wants to do with her life, and they have a very sweet story. It's very short, and it is illustrated, and this character isn't drawn as fat very much, like she's just not super skinny like all the other drawn characters, so that's a slight drawback, but other than that it's really sweet story. One of the books just slid off my lap. Indian Shoes is another one that's very small. This is a series of short stories about Ray and his grandpa, who are Cherokee Seminole, and they're very sweet. They're very much about the bond between these two. Then Anyeka and the Academy of the Sun. I will talk more about this. I will talk more about all three of these in my wrap up for August, but basically a very cool story about a girl with magic hair who goes to Nigeria to try to find her missing father. Ends up at the Academy of the Sun with a bunch of people who have similar powers but not quite the same. So there's magic school vibes. And one that I'm currently reading is Rain Is Not My Indian Name. I will also link Michelle's of Thor Wants Another Letter video below that recommends a bunch of books in the Heart Drum imprint. Here it is, it's on the back, by HarperCollins, that are all Indigenous stories. And my library had pretty much all of them, so your library might also, because my library doesn't have a lot of Indigenous books, but it does have these ones. And it's quite small, and it is about a girl dealing with grief as her friend has died, and also starting to connect more with her heritage than she has in the past, because her aunt is running a camp that is for Indigenous kids, focusing on bringing them together and a little bit on teaching them their heritage. Okay, now ones that I am intending to read. One is Ancestor Approved, Intertribal Stories for Kids. This is a bunch of stories about kids going to a powwow. I don't think like they're all going to the same powwow. I think they're going to different ones and having different experiences, but I have heard nothing but good things about this, so I'm looking forward to it. Playing the Cards You're Dealt, I need to read post haste because it needs to go back to the library, and this sounds like it's a lot about actually playing with cards, but also a lot about bigger issues than that. This one, The Deepest Breath, is another from Anya's list of queer middle grade books. Sisters of Neversea, I don't remember where I got the recommendation from this from, but I thought it was a good enough recommendation to request it from the library, so I'm gonna try it out at least. Strange Worlds Travel Agency is another of the queer book recs, as is How to Become a Planet. So I'd like to finish a lot of these books in that time frame. I have about a week and a half left of this month, so maybe that won't work out. But if you are looking for possible middle grade to use for your TBR for middle grade magic readathon, these might work for you. So I'd love to know if you're planning on taking part, if you have a favorite middle grade that you have read this year, or if you haven't read any this year, a favorite of all time. And how about a musical emoji, like musical notes for Baraka Beats, if you would like to leave an emoji this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!